The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
And hello, everybody. Welcome into a glorious Monday episode of Running Point. We start a new week with a big smile because we have not one but two state champions in the Ysn family. We have one state runner-up. We had 3 teams playing on Saturday. And since the last time we talked, we also have a baseball team punched their ticket to state as well. Congratulations to everyone. We're going to talk about everyone in this show. But we start with the back-to-back state champion head coach, Steve Ward, from Austintown Fitch, someone that's always fun to have on the show. Coach, I mean, the obvious question is how you're doing, but I think I know the answer.
It's an unprecedented run, and all the expectations, all the target, the big bullseye on the back, that these girls rose up to the challenge every single time. And, we completed this journey, and we're excited, and we're just haven't come down yet from it.
I was at one of the scrimmages that you guys had way, way back when. It feels like forever ago now, looking back on it. One of the things that you said in the huddle was how special this team is and how nothing was going to stand in their way and how talented they were. And I was asked, and I said, the only thing that's going to stop you girls is something that you guys do, because there's no one more talented than you guys in the state of Ohio. When you reflect on that conversation, those conversations in the scrimmages and the preseason, what kind of things stand out to you about what they were able to do this whole season?
Well, I mean, just the high level of players that we got. Again, we talked to them numerous times that the only thing that's going to stop us is us. So we got to stay together. We got to keep working hard. We got to keep the sharp mental mindset. And just, that was a tri-way scrimmage, and just looking from that point to the end point. Wow. Well, I mean, what can you say about our Falcons? They just stuck together. They worked extremely hard. They stuck together nonstop. They're best friends, and just the results speak for themselves.
I want to talk about this game because I'm a softball junkie. I want to talk through it. Watkins Memorial, it's a 4-0 win for you guys. You come out in the first inning. There's a big defensive play. You guys are the home team, so you get the bottom half. I think it was the first or second hitter of the game. I can't remember if there was 1 out or 2. But
one out, second hitter.
Hits a ball into the gap. It goes to the wall. And 9 times out of 10 in the state championship, when something like that happens, it's going to be a huge momentum swing. But Kayleana Ray goes to the fence, gets it, throws it into Ayla, who relays it into Roby. Tag applied. There's the out made at third. You take away what could have been a runner in scoring position with less than 2 outs, and all of a sudden there are 2 outs with nobody on base. What kind of tone does a play like that set for the rest of the game?
It literally took the momentum out of their sails and put it right into ours, and got us right into what we want to be with our energy, how we want to approach the game. And you look at that, just a two perfect throws, perfect tag. You get Jordan Wyckoff out, who's just, she's batting over 600 for the year, going to Ohio, I believe, Ohio University. And so to get that out that early, just momentum shifter, and you could just feel our energy radiating off of us. And then that energy then took us into the bottom half of the inning, and Ayla Ray doing what Ayla Ray does. Just amazing.
I also want to talk about Kayleana, because from a coach's perspective, get that ball getting to the fence is a little bit of a mistake. You can't let that happen. You got to cut it off. But most freshmen, when they make a mistake like that in that kind of stage, it can get wheels can come off. But we have talked all season. This is not your ordinary freshman. This is not your most freshmen. I mean, What kind of things can you say about the ability to say, okay, I'm gonna take what happened and I'm just gonna roll with it and make it the best defensive play I possibly can make, and put our team in a position at least to get that out. She was one arm of that play, so the others had to make it too. But hey, I'm gonna do my part in making sure that I don't compound mistakes.
And, for her, that ball really goes very fast on that turf in Firestone, because it's got a real sand mix to her, so it's really hard. Our turf has got the pellets, so we're softer, and that ball just takes off out there. So recovers, gets the ball off the fence, does not hesitate, relays it right to Ayla, and the end of the play. But for her to have that wherewithal and just that mental toughness of, okay, the ball went by me, I know this girl's going to third, I don't even need to look, I know where Ayla's going to be, and let's go. It's just amazing. And that's why I'm going to say she's the best freshman in the state.
Bottom of the first inning, you guys keep that momentum and you take it and you just roll with it, because Ayla Ray hits a home run, second batter of the game. It's both teams have the second batter of the game hit the ball pretty hard. That could have been a momentum swing for both teams. Ayla's the one that you can't defend because it goes over the fence. Talk about that home run and the feelings that you had when you saw that at bat and the way it transpired.
As soon as it went off the bat, I knew it was gone. I was waving the finger and going, just because you saw how it just launched off of her bat. And again, Ayla Ray, just, what can you say, 2 state championships in a row, she hits a home run for us to take the lead. And then last year she scored the run to tie the game, and then she eventually hit the game winning go ahead run for us last year against Anthony Wayne. So what more could you say about Ayla Ray's career, and how special is it that her and her sister get to enjoy a state title together? How many siblings get to do that? That's just, it's amazing.
When I liked watching the highlight, is she put the finger up for a second, and then I think she took it down, and I don't know this for sure, but I think maybe yesterday I hit one that I thought was a bomb for sure, and it bounced over the wall for a ground rule double. Maybe that was in her mind. Maybe I should just wait to celebrate till around second, and I know for sure it's gone. But that was hilarious to see that. And when you think about the rest of the offensive performance, they tack on some runs early. And yes, Cassidy, who's a great pitcher, makes her adjustments and really stops you at 4. And for a handful of innings there, really kept your offense down. What do you see from your offense, especially early, to counter the initial game plan that great pitcher for Watkins Memorial and Cassidy had for you guys?
Early on, we kind of knew that she was going to be going to the outside quite a bit based on what we've seen from her. And so we were ready, and we jumped on it. And I think that rattled Watkins Memorial quite a bit, us being so aggressive. And then great players do what great players do, and Carson settled back in, and they switched their game plans. You saw a lot of off speeds and changeups coming to us in the 3rd and 4th inning. And, they had us fooled. But again, we keep adjusting, and we were able to get some more runners on. Just unfortunately, we weren't able to push them through. But again, it always comes down to in-game adjustments. And right at the beginning, we took advantage of some of their early mistakes.
It's okay, because 4 runs was more than enough with the performance that Cindy Watts put together. I put this out on Twitter, and I think this performance might not have been the best, like from a fundamental standpoint of most executed pitch game that she's ever had, but one of the most impressive performances I've seen from her, because it wasn't the best execution-wise, but she still was able to make adjustments in the game, go away from some pitches that maybe weren't working, or maybe they were laying off, or whatever it may be, and she still finds a way to shut out the team and get her team in a position to win. What did you see from Sid in the circle, especially through the progression of the game, trying to make the adjustments, just finding ways to get outs, even if it wasn't the way we normally see her do it?
Well, again, I think that between Walsh and Watkins Memorial, those are 2 of the best hitting teams you're ever going to see. Top to bottom, you can't take an off pitch, or else they're just going to go. And again, having a college level umpire at the plate, the strike zone was very narrow, to say the least. It was, by the book, definitely. And so with those 2 things combined, having a great hitting team, and then, not really getting the river a whole lot or anything, it's constantly managing your pitching, because you cannot throw a perfect strike to any one of those hitters from Watkins. You just can't do it, because they're going to take advantage of it. So her managing her pitching, moving around, trying to get them to chase here and there. And they were a great disciplined team batting. They did not chase much. So in my mind, we were okay with giving up a walk here and there in order to then come back and attack the next batter a little bit better. And just masterful piece, just mental toughness, her in the circle, like calling her whole game against that level of a team. Unbelievable.
I thought the true moment when I said, okay, she's going to be okay, was when the bases got loaded and it was still a pretty close game and they had opportunities to really take their momentum. And she gets that out to get out of that inning and to leave the bases loaded. Yes, they put runners on after that. They weren't done fighting as an offense, but I felt like that inning in particular was the one where I just went, okay, Sid's going to grind through whatever this Watkins Memorial lineup throws at her.
I tell you, you look at that play, and she's coming up and in on the batter, and it hits the batter's knob of the bat, and just by circumstance hits the batter's knob, because again they were crowding the plate. They were expecting us to go outside a little bit, and they were going to lay off some of the inside high stuff. But for it to go off the barrel of the bat there, the knob of the bat, go in fair territory, Sydney to have the mental awareness of what is going on, because everybody froze in a moment, like what just happened. And her just running out of the circle, getting the ball, staying composed in that moment, and throwing it to first for the third out. Again, you talk about momentum changers. That what more can you say? Like that is a high pressure moment that, if you fumble the ball at all or you airmail it, that's going to cause a lot of damage. And that said, just locked in as always.
Talking to her mom after the game, and she talked about how much that she saw from her daughter, the growth and maturity throughout this season. I'm wondering, as a coach's perspective, getting to be with her every day, getting to practice with her and outside of games, how much have you seen Sid grow mature-wise from the start of the season to the end of the season, do you think?
Unbelievable growth. Again, it's now, I think the reality is that she is a college level player, and she's going to approach everything in her life as a college level, D1 college level player. And so I think a switch just flipped. And now, again, you didn't have any immaturity issues last year or anything like that, but you just look at the fact of how she approached her game in classes, preparing for the ACT, everything that she's doing just speaks out that I am a D1 college level athlete and I'm training and working like it.
All right, let's talk about the celebration and the moment that you guys won and what that was like from your perspective to see all the hard work that everyone in the program, whether it be your coaching staff, the players, the JV players who were on the bench that gave you a lot of energy. I know you buy into everyone in the program, whether you're playing or not on the field, has a role in the dugout. What was it like for you to see everyone be able to come together and celebrate back-to-back state championships?
It's just a perfect moment of happiness. That last pitch, the girl swings at, we get the strikeout. What a fitting way to end the game on a strikeout like that. And then just to know from, the second week of June last year to this point now of how hard they worked, how much time they invested in the weight room, how much time they invested in their private coaches, their travel ball, going into, school, the wind and tear of schoolwork. I mean, our girls take high level classes, and so they practice and lift, and now they have to go home, do their homework, and then have a social life. And then just to have that again, defending state champions, everybody wanted to take a shot at us, and we welcomed it. And, what can I say? That they just played an amazing season. They did not take any time off. And to see them raise the trophy together and all the smiles and all the happiness of knowing that they did it together. Because again, not everybody's going to get to, be the pitcher, and not everybody's going to be able to be the shortstop, or, wherever it is that everybody has a role. Everybody's important. Everybody knows that they contributed to this championship team. And that's what we love is, we try to have everybody understand and feel important in our program.
So when someone wins the Super Bowl, they get to say, I'm going to Disney World, right? I'm going to Disney World. What do you do to celebrate? Like, what's the next couple weeks look like for your end of the season wrap up? I mean, do you take some time off? Do you take some R&R after a long season? What's your way of decompressing, I guess I could say?
There's not going to be any decompressing probably until after the July 4th parade. because again, the community is so excited. The school system is so excited. It's unbelievable that, we have businesses reaching out that want to have us down for team dinners. The 4th of July parade is coming up. I'm sure we're going to be invited down to a trustees meeting. I know one of our county commissioners said that we're going to be hopefully invited to the State House to go down there and be recognized down there. So it's going to be a lot of different events, and just it's awesome to see the excitement that the community and school system has for us. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I think people forget that when you win a state championship, it's great, but that doesn't mean that you get like to just go off into the sunset. Like it brings a lot of stuff. It brings a lot of attention, a lot of media obligations, a lot of appearances. People want to see this team. What's that like for you to be able to share what you guys have been able to do with so many people in the community and the state? Everywhere that you guys are going to go and kind of represent the Fitch school system.
It's very humbling, quite honestly, that we've talked before. I'm more of a quiet person. I'm more, kind of introverted, and to be out in the spotlight and everybody recognizing what this team has accomplished, it's just so heartwarming and humbling that, you take a step back and you just try and take it all in, because nothing's ever guaranteed. And, 30 minutes after the game, I'm being asked about a three-peat, and I'm like, oh my God, I just want to enjoy right now, and I'll worry about that. And, when that time comes. So, again, just to be able to be in the moment and recognize that, this is something truly special that these players and this team has done, coaching staff included, just unbelievable. So we're just going to enjoy every opportunity and every moment, because again, you never know if it's ever going to come around.
Don't worry, Coach. We have next year's season preview to talk about it. We're gonna enjoy this moment here on YSN. Well, we'll let you talk about next year, March or February when we do our season preview. Okay. Well, we'll let you enjoy this rounded players.
I appreciate it.
Let's talk about softball in the area. We had 3 teams down there, all on Route 46. Canfield, South Range joining you guys in the state tournament. We had Canfield win. South Range fell 2 runs short, but what was it like, as just someone that I know loves softball as much as you do, to see the area so well represented? And we had Matthews in the state tournament as well. 4 teams and 4 divisions, all from the Valley. Mm-hmm. What was it like to be able to be a part of that?
Just amazing, the softball talent in this area. How I think everybody raises up their level around each other, because with our players, we knew Molina Toth and the Canfield Cardinals were going to be a heck of a game. So we're raising our levels. They're raising their levels. South Range, again, I don't want to say they snuck up on people, but, everybody said at the beginning, well, it's going to be a rebuilding year. And Coach Dro said, no, I don't think so. So to see what the area programs are able to do, it's just amazing to see that. And with what Vienna Matthews has done, I know they're a young team that they're going to return a lot. They're well coached. And again, it just, what is it? Rising tide raises all ships.
Right.
And that's it. And we are in a pinnacle time in this valley right now of softball, that, the talent level that you could take kids that are on everybody's respective benches, and I believe they'd be starters in a lot of different places.
When you take just our valley out of it and you say Northeast Ohio, if you look at the program at state and you look at the breakdown of the county championships on that page where it has the whole state of Ohio, if you cut it into 4 quadrants, a lot of them, and a whole lot of them, come from the northeast quadrant of the state. What do you? And there might not be an easy answer for this, because it's been years. It's not just this last decade. It's years of dominance from Northeast Ohio. Can you pinpoint something that you think builds really good programs in this general area of the state?
I don't think that's one thing in particular. I think that, when you have the youth growing up looking at championship level teams, that they start to buy in, they start to look at what are the mannerisms, what are the habits, who are these players going to for their private coaches, and they start to buy in earlier and earlier. And then that's when that train really gets rolling. And you talk about then you're having, teams go on long runs where they're in contention, where they're in the talk. And, Hoover did that for a long time, that they were just nonstop replacing excellent players with excellent players. And, I think they were at 8 state titles. And so that just, when you have that, it just breeds more and more competition earlier and earlier, and kids get better and better.
How much do you see the technology advancements and the coaching advancements and the travel and all that stuff that goes into building these players? How much do you see it growing the game? Like we talked about the area softball, how good it's getting. How much do you see the players this getting better? Even in the teams, we're not talking about getting to state. I mean, there are so many good teams that didn't get to state because they had to play some of the teams that did. So
Right.
what do you see from that perspective of just softball getting better everywhere?
Again, you look at, I saw a post from Abby Toth. She already played in a travel ball games, like literally no days off. Went from winning state to playing in travel. Just and that's the expectation. That's the athletic level. That's what these teams require that these high level players do. And it's, again, and you look at just outside of Ohio, you look at it, it's nonstop. Softball is a hugely growing sport, and it's amazing to see. And it's amazing to see the number of tournaments that these players could get in, the notoriety and recognition, and just the top notch talent that they just face each other all the time. So when they come to high school, they know all the top players. They know each other, and they're ready to compete.
When you see players like Abby, but there are many others, whether it be on your team or one of the other state champions that went right to their travel, championship Sunday, bracket play Sunday for their travel team. That's dedication to the sport beyond anything that I can comprehend. I'm not satisfied with winning a state championship. I want to go and get more reps, more reps, more reps, more reps. What does that say about the players?
They have high character. They have a high level of character, that they care about every team that they're on, that they're going to give it 100%, that they're going to feel like, Kayliana, I guarantee if I said, hey, why don't you take the weekend off? She'd look at me like I was crazy. Like, no, I love and respect Fitch. I love and respect Vogan, the Outlaws team. And it's like, they're just wonderful, wonderful players that, are top notch, and they're not going to waste an opportunity to be a great teammate and to get themselves better.
When you're dealing with your players all going to different travel organizations through the summer, like, do you let them go? Do you try to get out there and support them? Do you try to get to see them play, or do you just kind of say travel is kind of that player's thing, and I don't want to infringe on that? How do you kind of handle the summer with your players? Do you try to get out there and see what they're doing? Do you try to talk with them about how they're doing, or do you just kind of take a little bit of break from being at a softball field if you can, and doing other things?
For some of our players, it's kind of hard.
I know. Well,
Can't really fly out to Colorado and just spend a week out there and things like that. But if it's something local, I try to get out there, because again, I don't feel it's high school and travel do this. I think we more do this and complement one another. And especially, obviously, all your recruiting goes through travel ball. It's just the name of the game there. And we try to do what we can at the high school to reach out to college coaches and let them know what the student athlete part of it is, that we tell them what they're like in the classroom and how they act in the hallways and everything. But we keep in contact with them all the time. I want to see their highlights. I want to talk to them about how they're doing, not just in the sport, but how they're doing in life about it. How you holding up, because again, high school is such a long grinding season, and nobody comes out of from February 21st, I think it was, till June 1st, nobody comes out 100% healthy. You're physically tired, you're emotionally drained after such a high run of what they did. And so of course we always want to check in with our players, and we always want to compliment them and build them up, because again, we have utmost respect for what they do. It's it's mind-boggling how they keep everything A+ in their life.
One of the things I also want to talk to you about, because I saw it when I was sitting up there at the stadium, getting ready for all the games. Every game you played at Firestone, whether it be the first game in the semis or the championship, you had a lengthy conversation with the other coach, and it was just the respect that was shown. Even I don't know if you'd met both those coaches before, or if it was the first time you had met them, or what it was. But either way, like, you are someone that loves the coaching community and loves the people that you meet through this sport. Talk about what that does and playing at this level against teams that you don't get to play against throughout the season, and what it's like to see coaches that have also gotten their programs to the level you have, and to share respect with competitors.
Well, it's just the utmost respect for coaches because we all know what we go through. We all know the trials and tribulations that every coach has to go through to get to a point. And then, you have, sometimes you have losing problems as a coach, and sometimes you have winning problems as a coach. But there's one thing I can tell you: that's you talk to any coach, there's going to be a certain amount of problems that come up throughout a season. And so when you get to a chance to talk to coaches that maybe you don't really ever get to see too often, or first time you're meeting them, it's like just utmost respect that when we talk to you, I know and appreciate everything that you're doing to get your program to that point. And it's very complimentary. It's never trying to be underhanded or backhanded or, anything. It was a nice conversation with Coach S and Coach Jellison. They're, we're at that point, and, we're all know what's at stake. So we're just putting our best foot forward. We're complimenting each other on how the players are, how their game plans are going into this. And, it's a lot of fun to me. It really is.
As we bring it full circle and we kind of talk about everything this Fitch team has been able to accomplish. You said what a feat, and I saw your Facebook post about the schedule that you guys had and the teams you had to beat to get there, and how much those teams were respected in the state and voted for in the state a little bit ahead of you guys. There's a wink wink nudge nudge, I think, in that too. When you reflect on the last 2 years real quick, if you could just state on what this means to the program as a whole and continuing the program success throughout the next 10 years, however long you're going to coach. I hope it's for a while, because I love these conversations. But forever, what does the last 2 years mean to Austintown Fitch softball and the future that it can have?
Well, I tell you, when you just talk about the last 2 years, it goes on previous before that. All the players that came through here, everybody was a building block. Everybody helped create this program. And now we just had this NASA-like launch to, back-to-back state titles. And I think what I really love most is when our players are out and they just see community members say, "Oh, you're part of Fitch softball. That's awesome. We've been watching you. We've never watched softball before. And, we've been watching you." And, I'm in the school right now, and, so many teachers were like, "I listened to it on YSN and I wasn't able to go, but I listened to it on YSN. That's so amazing." It's seeing the girls be recognized for what they're doing. And I just love that. And again, I love our community. I love our school system. Everybody here just supports us. And like I said, we have local businesses reaching out. They want the girls to come down. It's just amazing. And again, it's very heartwarming for me to see that they're being recognized. And I love seeing that.
Coach, I want to say you have shattered the Running Point viewership record. We're in the triple digits, so people love you. There's community out there that is watching and loving the fact that you are back-to-back state champion. We want to thank you for your time always. Congratulations, buddy. No one deserves it more than this program, these players, these coaching staff. We know everyone that goes into it. The players before, as you said, that they got you to this point, they deserve a piece of this pie too. Congratulations on everything. We wish you the best of luck, and hopefully you still do find some time to get some R&R, because you do deserve it. And I know your family deserves it too, because they spend a lot of time, with you occupied as a coach over the spring. So hopefully you get a lot of time to soak it in and to enjoy the summer months. And we'll talk to you again real soon.
Anthony, thank you. Thank YSN for everything you guys do. Our conversations mean the world to me as well. And, yes, a huge shout out to my family. It was really cool that under the lights at Akron Firestone Stadium, I look over to my right, and up there I see Melody, I see Charlotte, I see Larry, my dad, Grayson, and, I just give them a little wink and a smile, and, I could see just how proud they are, and they know how much is sacrificed for my time and their time. And, I just truly love and appreciate them. Again, thank you. Thank you, YSN. Thank you for the viewership, because, you guys are really building the sport and really getting eyes to the sport.
All right, Coach. When you put on a show, we just share it with the world. So thank you again, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Steve Ward from Austintown Fitch softball, back-to-back state champions. What an exciting week. The last show we were on was Thursday, right? We took Friday off because Canfield played early. We had to be down at Firestone Stadium. So from since our last show, we have had a baseball team punch their ticket to state. They're going to Canal Park. West Branch, congratulations. Bo Alazos pitched a heck of a game in the semis. They came up with a walk-off. Jackson Robb hits a walk-off base hit against the reigning state champions, Kenston. So congratulations to West Branch on making it to state. We can't wait to follow you guys to Canal Park and celebrate what you guys have been able to do. And then, the ball kept rolling. We had South Range win the state semifinal, get into the championship. We had Canfield and the Fitch in back-to-back days on Friday win and get into the state championship. So Saturday we had 3 teams all playing at Firestone Stadium, and they were back-to-back. South Range, Canfield, Fitch. South Range played in a heck of a game. It was exciting. It was 5-3. It was close. They just fell a little bit short. It comes down to little things in the state championship, and that team with only one senior fell just a little bit short. And a lot of people think, okay, you have the opportunity to come back. It's hard. It's not a guaranteed trip back to state, and Coach DeRose knows that better than anybody, but they fell a little bit short. But then Canfield makes us all happy. They get the win over Bryan to get state championship. Revenge tour taken care of. Canfield avenges the loss to Talmadge a year ago, and then it's time for Fitch to come onto the scene, and they're trying to fly it back, as we put it. They get the state championship, and it's almost like a fever dream sitting up there in the media booth, being able to call all 3 games, and you see it was deflating to lose South Range, and you go down there and you see the team, and you go through all the emotions of seeing the team that you've covered all year lose, right? But then you get to go back up there and see 2 teams win. It was a heck of a Saturday. I'll tell you what, last night, or I should say yesterday, I slept a lot. There was a lot of just trying to recover from not just the long day physically, but the long day emotionally of the state championship Saturday. Congratulations to all the state champions. I want to put that first and foremost. Softball fans, whether you're a YSN team or not, Strasburg Franklin, 10-time state champion. That's something that is just ridiculous, and no one in the state has done it. They were tied with a couple with 9. Champion and Talmadge, I believe, were the 2 with 9, and they break that tie with their 10th state championship. They had no trouble. It was a run rule. Strasburg Franklin is a ridiculously good program. And then you had Liberty Union, who upset everybody on the road to state. They beat the number 1 seed in the district. They beat Miami East in regionals. They went and beat the number 6 team in the state semifinals. They beat South Range, who's the number 2 team in the state. It was an upset Cinderella run that usually in most sports doesn't get a championship. Usually Cinderellas get to the Final Four. Maybe you'll get to the Elite 8, in those March Madness brackets, but very rarely do you see Cinderella actually get to go to the ball and get to have the dance, and Liberty Union, props to them, tip of the hat. They did what they had to do to win the game. It wasn't all pretty. They made a couple of errors too. They only had 5 hits, but the one thing that they did do is they drew 10 walks. And when you do that, you're always going to put yourself in positions to win. 5-3, they got the win. Canfield, watching this game, I want to break it down because we broke down the Austintown Fitch game with Steve Ward. And the flows of that game and the turning points and the way that game developed. But when you talk about this Canfield game, from the first pitch, you could all season you saw Melina Toast's eyes, but you just wondered if she'd be able to have it one more time. That fire, that, oh my gosh, you're just not gonna get her. And that was what we saw in this state championship. She was just so locked in. Every pitch seemed to hit its perfect spot right where she wanted it to. There was never a moment in that game where you thought, maybe Bryan offense has a chance. No, it was just Melina Toth domination. Their offense, like always, did enough. It's not a prolific 10, 12 run a game offense. It's an offense that finds ways to score when they get the opportunities. They don't waste the opportunities they do get, and they come through in the biggest moments of their life. And how about Kaylee Ortiz? I've been talking about her all season long, how she's come onto the scene this year. She was just a pinch runner last year. That's all they kind of were using her for. this year with so many seniors graduating from a season ago. They need her to step into a bigger role. She did that all season, but then you start to think, hey, what's Kaylee Ortiz going to do in her first tournament run? Well, she hit a bomb in the semifinals and a bases clearing double in the state championship. I mean, Kaylee Ortiz is a rising star in that Canfield program. And there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, from the first game of the year where Canfield loses to Austintown 5-0, but Kaylee Ortiz was the only girl in the lineup to get a hit off of Sydney Watson. I remember looking at that box score. I was in Boardman. I did the Boardman-Howland game, and I'm looking at it, and I see one hit, and I'm expecting it to come from Leah Figueroa or maybe come from Macy Kalina or, who's it? It comes from Kaylee Ortiz, who I was like, oh, that's one of the new players. That's one of the players that didn't have a big role last year. She's the one that gets a hit off of Sydney Watts. And then they go and she gets a hit in the next game. She's the only Canfield player to get a hit in both games against Austintown Fitch. And then she continues to have a really great season for them. Came on to pitch in the 10 days that Melina Toth had to be shut down. Did a really good job keeping Canfield afloat. That could have been a time of the year where Canfield dipped and lost a couple of games that they maybe shouldn't have lost. But Kaylee Ortiz came in the circle, pitched really well. And then all of a sudden, here you go. In the state semifinals, you get a chance to be, the big hero, and you do it. And then you do it again in the state championship. 3 out of the 4 runs that Canfield scored were because of Kaylee Ortiz in that state championship. That was really fun to watch. It was fun to watch Melina Toth get her revenge. We talked to her on Wednesday, a part of that round table, and maybe she wasn't as forthcoming about this attitude. She's keeping on the front of being in the media. But you just know last year's state championship sat with her all year. And she said, this is not going to happen to me again. Didn't pitch my best in last year's state championship game. I'm going to pitch my absolute best in this one. And she did. It doesn't get much better than what Melina Toth did in a state championship game. I mean, the only thing you could, if you're in a no-hitter, okay, that could have gotten better. But it doesn't, she was hitting every spot. She was locked in. There was not a single waiver in that Canfield pitching. And the defense made a couple of plays behind her. It was really awesome to watch Canfield. Just sometimes you get so locked into that dream for all year, and then you get there, and it's a little bit harder than you imagined. The Leprechauns went and moved the pot of gold, and they booby-trapped the end of the rainbow. You get there, you finally find the end of the rainbow. Sometimes the Leprechauns go and booby-trap the thing, right? This time they got there. They've been focused on it all year. Get back to state, revenge tour. They got there, and they were just absolutely locked in the moment that this was what was going to happen. And that was really cool to see because you can't – sometimes in sports, you don't get to write the story all the time. And Canfield got to write it. We've been using the metaphor of story all weekend for these softball players. They got to write the story. They got to finish it. They got to put the bookmark in it. And now they flip to the next chapter. What can we do after winning a state championship? But the chapter of this year, the Revenge Tour chapter, it's closed. And they got to write it. They got to sign it. They got to end it the way they wanted to. And the reality is in sports, you don't always get to end it the way you want it to, right? There were a lot of teams this year, everyone but one in every division, that didn't get to end the story the way they wanted to. Canfield did. And that was really fun to watch. Austintown Fitch, we broke down that game with Coach Ward. Watkins Memorial had a very formidable lineup. Formidable seems like it's underplaying it. Like, they had Division I talent on that lineup. Their home run numbers were ridiculous. Their averages were ridiculous. They weren't averages that were based on playing a bad schedule. They were averages based on, we are Division I talent. And they came in against a Division I pitcher. This was, we dubbed it at the top of the broadcast, me and Ty, as close as you could probably get to a college level game here in high school softball, because both teams just had Division I players at the wazoo. Players that haven't come in yet because they're too young, that we know that are going to, and players that are already committed. And the way that game went, and I said it before, I think, I haven't seen every Sydney Watts game. I get it. I'm not Ty. I haven't been to every Fitch game. But from my perspective, what I've been able to see, and I've been able to watch a lot of them, and I've been able to cover some of them live, I think that was the most impressive pitching performance I've seen from Sidney Watts. Not the best execution-wise, but the most impressive, because the fact that there were trials, there were things that she had to adjust, there were adjustments that needed to be made. They weren't chasing the rise ball, right? We saw them laying off the rise ball pretty dang well. So she goes to her changeup, just like Cassidy did, right? The difference was, the real big difference of this game is that when Watkins had their opportunities early, just like Fitch had their opportunities early, both teams had plenty of chances early on in the game. Watkins didn't take them because Sidney Watts bowed up when she had to, made the adjustments, called her own game, made the adjustments, and just worked through not 100%, right? Not a perfect game, not striking everybody out. Just worked through ways to find outs. Find the outs when she needed to find them. Steve Ward said, hey, they were okay with some walks here and there because this is a really good team. They're going to be disciplined. We're not going to give them a cookie, right? So if we have to walk some of them because they're letting pitches go in the corners, he had 4 walks, right? I think 4 walks if memory serves right. We give them up, and then we bow up on defense, and we make the plays that we have to make, and consistently. I think the first 4 innings, Watkins put a runner in scoring position. If you count that double as 1-2, even though she was thrown out at third, putting a runner in scoring position every one of the first 4 innings, and just saying, hey, we're gonna find ways to get out. She made some pitches that were mistakes. They were missed spots. Watkins Memorial hit them hard, but because they're off speed, way out in front of them, they're foul. That's what mixing speeds is so important. That's what's another thing that Sidney Watts did so well in this game. Just navigating that really tough lineup. Maybe the toughest lineup she's faced all season. You could make arguments for Watkins. Watkins got further than Walsh, but that's because Walsh had to play Fitch before Watkins did, right? If they're flip-flopped, who knows? Maybe Walsh gets to the state championship. Watkins loses in the regional finals. They're both really good teams. Navigating that tough lineup, navigating the really good gameplay that the lineups had, that's what makes her next level. That's what Coach Aaron Dixon from Georgia Tech is going to watch that game and say, that's what makes her going to be good in our level. Not the perfect games against high school opponents that aren't ready for her. Not the no-hitters. Not the extremely awesome stats that are just, they're gonna look at that game and say, she went up against a lineup that had good game plans, made some good swings, put some balls in play, hit some balls hard, and she navigated it, pitched it well, made her adjustments, worked with her defense. That game, that performance is why she's going to be good at this level. Everyone at this level can throw no-hitters in high school. Like, you go through Power 5 pitchers, I guarantee there's not one of them that didn't have multiple no-hitters in high school. But what makes the difference between the ones that are great, the ones that get to the World Series, the ones that win conference championships, the ones that are generational talents for their Division I Power 5 programs, are that they can find ways to get outs when they don't have their no-hitter stuff, when they're not throwing everybody out. Because there will be games when great pitchers in Power 5 programs dominate, and they're right there. They're no-hitters, right? There will. They're that good. But what makes them special is those games where they don't have that, and they still navigate their way through a lineup, very tough lineups that you're going to see in the ACC. Got to deal with Florida State, got to deal with Duke, got to deal with Clemson. You're going to have to deal with Stanford, who's in the semifinals today. Going to have to deal with Cal. SMU doesn't have softball, so they don't count when you're talking about adding to the ACC. When you're navigating those lineups, finding ways to get outs, when your best stuff might not be working, they're laying off the rise ball. That's Sidney Watts' best pitch. Okay, let me throw it for a strike. She did that too. She ended one of the innings with a low rise ball taken for a strike. Let me start throwing that first strike. See if they can hit it. See if they still let it go. Then mess with their minds a little bit. Maybe we can get ways to get that rise ball to be a swing and miss pitch again because they're laying off of it now. How can we get them off of seeing it? Working through that this the softball IQ to work through a game. That's next level. You don't have a lot of pitchers in the high school level that are being able to do that are saying, working through a game intellectually, going through pitch by pitch and saying, okay, they're laying off of this, so how do I pitch them in a way that they start to chase this pitch again? How do I mess with their timing? I throw a changeup low. Okay, now they're looking low for it. I'll throw a rise ball for a strike. It'll be a called third strike. Okay, that's going to be in their head now that a rise ball can be a strike. Maybe they're more formidable. Maybe they're more formidable to swing at the pitches that I put up out of the zone now because I was showing that I can throw it for a strike. So you can't lay off my rise ball every single time. And then look at the last at bat. Rise ball, swinging him a strike 3. Right? Because she got in the head. She put that rise ball in the strike zone. So they can't just say, okay, I see that spin. I see it down. I'm going to lay off of it. Or I see it up, I should say. You see the rise ball up, you lay off. That's it. It's the first key. I've always said it. First step to beating Sydney Watts is laying off her rise ball. So, hey, rise ball, they'll lay off of it. But, hey, Sydney Watts says, I have 3 levels of rise balls, which is what rise ball pitchers are really, really good at. One in the strike zone, one just out of it, your chase pitch, right? So she throws one in the strike zone, called strike 3, you're gone. Then what do you do as a hitter, right? You have to readjust. You have to constantly stay on your toes because Sydney Watts didn't just stay with her rise ball and force it all night because that's her strikeout pitch and that's what she wants to throw. She worked around it. That's what great pitchers do. They don't just say, okay, my best stuff's not working, but I got to force it because this is still my best stuff. That's when you get into trouble because that's when you start to try to spot your rise ball. It's flat, that kind of lineups, and I drill it over the fence. Man, I was just so impressed. I was so impressed with her ability to navigate the way that game went. Perfect game through 5 innings in the semifinal. That's the one that's going to get all the attention. That's the ooh-ah game. But the next level college softball game that shows that she's going to be successful in the Power 5 was the state championship, not the perfect game. I promise you that. And I promise you, if I had Erin Dixon on the show right now, she would say the same thing. If I showed her those 2 tapes and I said, which pitching performance shows you more that Sydney Watts is going to be ready to go when she steps in Atlanta? She's going to say, that's the championship game. That's the one that's going to get her through college. That mindset, that ability, that softball IQ. Right there. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Congratulations on all 3 softball teams, by the way. You make everybody proud. Getting to state is not easy. We want everyone to win, of course. Of course you want to win. Of course it sucks when you don't. If it doesn't hurt, you don't win. You don't care enough that you wanted to win. But you still have to reflect for South Range's perspective. You still have to reflect and say what a feat it is to get there. And you keep getting there. And you keep getting there. You keep knocking on the door. And you ask every softball team from South Range that came before you what it took to get the program to this state, to this point. Keep knocking on that door. I wish more than anything that it could have been kicked in on Saturday, but it wasn't. You knocked. You keep knocking. You keep getting there. You keep getting to that doorstep. You will get through. You're a great program. You will get through. And you will find a way to win that game. You just got to keep going. You got to keep trusting the process. Keep doing what makes your program so special, which is more, first and foremost, one, feeding into the future of the program. That's what all these programs do so well. Feed into the future. South Range has a couple of really good players coming up. They have nothing but talent coming back. All but one of their players. We want to congratulate Gretchen Bartels. By the way, we're not discounting what she's been able to do for South Range. But everyone else is coming back. Keep doing what you're doing. For Canfield, congratulations. Revenge tour complete. So happy for Canfield. For Fitch, to back state champions. That's not easy to do. You did it. congratulations to everybody. We're going to take a break here on Running Point. When we come back, we have more of the Monday episode. Don't go anywhere. Running Point brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
From on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
You know, I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com. Monday episode. We want to thank you so much for tuning in today. We've had a lot of viewers. We love it. And we want to thank Greenwood Chevrolet, who you just heard from in that last commercial break, for being the sponsors of Running Point like they are every year. So we wrap up this show with a good luck tonight to Mohawk. We want to shout out the Mohawk Warriors. They won the WPIL over the weekend. On Thursday night, no, Friday, it got pushed to Friday, I'm sorry. On Friday night, they are the WPIL champions. They start their journey through the state playoffs in Pennsylvania. They do it a little bit differently than us in Ohio. They are 4 wins away from a state championship. So it all starts tonight for Mohawk against Harbor Creek at home, 4 o'clock. We wish the Warriors the best of luck. We still have softball going on in the YSN family. Do not forget that we do. We won't forget that we do. Softball season not over yet. We want to wish the Mohawk Warriors the best of luck. We also want to remind you that West Branch is playing in state. We will do our best to have a big show for West Branch on before Friday, before their state semifinal. We are reaching out. We are trying to our best to be able to share who we're going to have on and everything like that. We are trying to just knock that down. Me and Ty are hard at work, scheduling everything, knocking it down. As soon as we have everything solidified, we will promote when we'll be highlighting West Branch, because we are so proud of their baseball team for making it to state. We don't want that to go under the rug at all, how proud we are of the Warriors baseball squad. Class B baseball is going to continue throughout the summer. So this show is going to be talking a lot about the Class B night before. We'll have recaps for Class B tomorrow and throughout the rest of the summer. So we'll be spending a lot of time in the Class B website as well. That's kind of what to look forward to in the summer months. This is when I get to kind of flex my creative muscles too with guests. We're going to have guests probably from the softball world. I love to bring people that I know from the softball world on just to shoot the breeze a little bit in the summers for Running Point. So we'll continue that too. But I wanted to remind everybody that Running Point is not going anywhere throughout the summer months. We will be here Mondays through Fridays, 1 to 2. Like always, we will have some fun over the summer months. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in today. State championships. Congratulations to Canfield and Fitch again. Congratulations to South Range for making it there. Congratulations to Mohawk. To Matthews for getting there as well. We want you on the YSN train. Come aboard. There's plenty of room. And good luck to Mohawk tonight in the PIA round 1 of the playoffs against Harbor Creek at home, 4 o'clock. Wish you the best of luck. That'll do it for today's episode of Running Point. We want to thank Greenwood Chevrolet for being the wonderful sponsors, and of course, all of you for tuning in.